Hello, my name's Carrie with TwoDigitalGypsies.com, and today we're going to take a day trip to Southwold on the east coast of England. From our current home base in Bury St. Edmunds, it's about 60 miles and will take around an hour and a half to drive. From London by car, the trip is 120 miles and will take about 2.5 hours to drive. This is our British Racing Green Mini. It's been a great car so far. We bought it a couple months ago and it's perfect for driving on British roads. Let me talk about driving on British roads for just a minute. A lot of the roads you will drive on in England are called carriageways, and these are just simply two-lane roads. They twist a lot, they're narrow, they usually have no shoulder, and the speed limit on them is 60 miles an hour. Plus, when driving through a lot of the villages in England, the lane you're using will be used as parking by residents of the town or village that you're driving through. As you can see here, there isn't room for me to get by the parked car with the oncoming traffic in the opposite lane, so a lot of times you have to pull over and wait for traffic to go by. Luckily, in most of the villages and small towns, the speed limit is 30 miles an hour. Another must-have when driving in England is satellite navigation, whether it's in your rental car or in our case, our Mini didn't have one, so we bought this TomTom navigation system, and it's been a lifesaver. All we do is program in our destination and the TomTom will get us there. On the way to Southwold, we drove through the small English village of Blythburgh. I think it's pronounced Blythburgh. We noticed the Holy Trinity Church and we stopped to have a look. The church is also referred to as the Cathedral of the Marshes, and it was a mile south of the church in World War II, where John F. Kennedy's brother Joseph was killed in a plane crash. Arriving in Southwold, we drove down Pier Avenue to the parking lot at the Southwold Pier. If I remember right, parking was £3, and by 12 o'clock the day we visited, the parking lot was full. Next to the parking lot is the tea room and boating pond. Boating pond is where kids play in paddle boats. Southwold Pier is adjacent to the parking lot, so that's where we decided we'd go first. Southwold Pier is around 600 feet long and is currently a very popular tourist destination. Our first stop at the pier was at a coffee shop to get a mocha and a cappuccino. As you walk down the pier, you get a great view of Southwold, the lighthouse, and the beach huts. One of the attractions on the pier is the arcade, and the best way to describe this is that there are a number of games you can play at the arcade, and the games, I would describe them as quirky or zany, but it's a fun way to spend a half hour or so. Barbara decided she would try the Quick Fit machine for £1. Then there's the pet arcade, and when you spin the wheel, depending on where the arrow stops, will the lamb become pet or meat? And in this case, it's a pet. Then instead of whack-a-mole, we decided we would play whack-a-banker. Walking out to the end of the pier, we got an even better view looking back towards town. If you have kids, Southwold is a great place to visit. Opposite the pier is a merry-go-round and a skateboard ramp. Next to the merry-go-round and the skateboard ramp is the Southwold putting green. So there's lots of things for kids to do just in the Southwold Pier area. Leaving the pier area, we walked up the promenade towards town. We were both impressed with the facades and the architecture of the buildings along the way. And at the end of the promenade, there is a nice view back down the beach towards the pier. At Marketplace on High Street, there are a number of shops and restaurants to browse around. The Adnams and Company building is nearby. The oldest shop in town and the town hall are also in this area. The Tourist Information Building is also in this area of town if you want to pick up any additional information on Southwold. From Marketplace and High Street, we walked back down Queen Street towards the beach. This is where the South Green area is located. In 1659, fire devastated much of the town of Southwold. Many of the houses were never rebuilt, so the open spaces you see today are a result of that. From the South Green, it's a short walk over to Gun Hill. These 18-pound cannons were given to the town in 1746 by the Royal Armories to protect against shipping raids. Here, Barbara's getting ready to fire a cannon at a pirate ship. Leaving Gun Hill, we walked back up Queen Street towards town because we had lunch reservations at 2 o'clock at Coasters. After arriving at Coasters, we were able to sit outside in the patio, which was nice. Barbara had the roast lamb with potatoes, and I had fish and chips. Both meals were excellent. After eating at Coasters, we decided our next stop would be St. Edmund's Church. On our way there, we noticed Adnam's Cellar and Kitchen, so we stopped there to browse for a few minutes. From Adnam's, it's a short walk to St. Edmund's Church. St. Edmund's Church was built in the 1400s. It took 60 years to build the church. St. Edmund was a boy king in 869 AD who was martyred for his faith by invading Danes who tied him to a tree and shot him full of arrows. The church ceiling is a continuous roof, which is very impressive. And as you can see here, one of the windows shows a depiction of St. Edmund shot full of arrows. It's a beautiful church. If you ever get to Southwold, make sure this is one of your destinations. Leaving the church and heading back towards the pier, we noticed that there was a huge playground outside where kids were playing. Back at the pier, we stopped at the tea room, picked up a snack, sat at one of the benches along the boating pond and watched the kids play in their paddle boats for a while. All in all, we had a very pleasant visit to Southwold the day we came. The only snag I can think of is that there was a very brisk wind the day we visited, brisk enough that you had to lean into it somewhat to walk, and throughout the course of the day it tends to wear you out. So that was the only negative I can think about on our visit to Southwold. So that completes this video on our day trip visit to Southwold. If you liked this video, please click the thumbs up on the video page. To view a map of the parking, the restrooms, and the spots we visited in Southwold, just go to our website, TwoDigitalGypsies.com, and click the Maps tab in the navigation bar.